Yo, what is going on guys? Abyss here, and welcome to today's video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys one of the best healer sets in the game right now. With the new Spooky Festival being added, it did add some new sea creatures that are a part of the Sea Creature Festival. There is a new Werewolf, which is where you get the werewolf skin in order to craft the armor. So if you're wondering how you get the armor, that's how you get it. You have to wait for a new Spooky Festival and start fishing. You have to be fishing 17 in order to fish up the werewolf, so make sure you don't waste your time if you're not 17. Alright, so looking over the stats, I have them all 5-star. I have 2/4 giant and the other 2/4 reinforced. The reason for that is because if you look at the ability, upon activating ferocity, heal players within 25 blocks for 10% of your defense and gain 50 defense for 5 seconds. So, the more defense you have, the greater your healing will be. So that's why I have half of it as reinforced. As you can see, the chestplate grants 923, the pants 819. So normally it would only grant you 416 without reinforced, but since the health on this set is really low, I did throw a giant just to make the effective HP much higher. So yeah, I have tried a dungeon with full reinforced and I didn't do too great. I did have around roughly 4,000 defense and 3,000 HP at the end of the dungeon. So yeah, you have really low HP if you don't run giant, so if you can, I would say run giant on every piece. It's up to you, but I want to get some more defense out of it, so that's why it is half and half. Alright, so with the ability, it does say upon activating ferocity, you heal players. There is no cooldown for this, so technically, if you have over 100% ferocity, which I don't have right now, you can get a double strike every single hit, therefore healing your team every hit. The weapon I would advise using for this is the Livid Dagger, mainly because of the attack speed. You get 100% attack speed, meaning you'll get more hits in per second, therefore healing your team faster. For the weapon reforge, I would say go with 30. You can buy it for 100k at the Smithmonger. You'll find it by the blacksmith in this little room. The reason I'm not going to use it is because it does make your damage a little bit less, but it does increase ferocity, meaning you can proc the set's ability more times. So if you do add dirty, you do gain 12 ferocity, 12 strength, and 12 attack speed. So, like I said, if you run Fabled like I do, you do lose a lot of strength and crit damage, but you gain more ferocity, meaning the ability will proc more. It's up to you if you want to run it. It's not really needed, but if you need ferocity, as if you don't have a high-level tiger pet, I would run that. Another thing I would add to your sword is Vicious, mainly because it does grant 5 ferocity, but it is pretty pricey as you can see. The cheapest level 5 will run you about 9 million coins currently, so not needed, but if you really want to max out your ferocity, this is another thing you should add. Another thing I forgot to say at the beginning, technically, the best reforge to have on this armor would be Empowered. You get Empowered from Sedan's Brooch, but the reason you want Empowered is because the bonus it gives you is any healing on other is increased by 10% while in dungeons. So if you can't afford Sedan's Brooch, I would suggest that over Giants and Reinforced. Mainly because if you have it on 4 pieces, that is 40% more healing. Also, the pet I would recommend is 100% the Tiger Pet, mainly because you gain a lot of ferocity from it. The higher level, the better. I got a 92, and, you know, shout out to Jojo Dog for letting me borrow the Tiger Pet. I appreciate it. Another pet you could run with this would be the Baby Yeti. The more strength you have, the more defense you gain, and as you know from the ability, the more defense you have, the better your healing will be. So it is another option, but if you want to maximize your ferocity and your damage, I would say use the Tiger Pet. If you want to maximize your healing, I would say use the Baby Yeti. Alright, so without further ado, let's go test it out in the dungeon. Alright, so here we are in the dungeon. Currently, I have 2700 defense, 2700 HP. Not the greatest. But here's what my stats look like. 137 ferocity, and my effective HP is 77,000. Not the best, but if I do put on the Baby Yeti, I do get 3.8 thousand defense. So you do have more survivability, and wow. Are you kidding me? Okay, well, this team does not seem like it is the best. Alright, so with a tiger pet, you are going to be easier to kill, so you do want to be careful of that. I should add one thing, when you do get the heal ability to go off, it doesn't heal yourself, it only heals your other teammates. So, like I said, you do really want to be careful, because you can die. Don't think you're invincible just hitting everything, but if you do play healer, you do get the little healer circle. So don't be scared to use that. As well, if you have a Mana Flux, Radiant Orb, or Overflux, don't be scared to use that, because you do get a decent amount of mana. You could also carry around a Zombie Sword for extra heals if you need it, but you shouldn't really be needing it if you just use a little healing circle. So in order to test its healing capability, I'm going to try and follow around my teammates so I can see how much I actually heal them for. Alright, I'm going to follow around this guy and see how much healing I could do for him. Alright, so we did get, now we're getting around 800 per hit. There's a 900. So, pretty good healing overall. Alright, so now I'm going to switch to the Baby Yeti, which will increase my defense by a lot. Right now I have over 4,000. So as you can see, 1,200 to 800 with the Tiger. You do get a bigger heal with the Yeti, but you get more heals with the Tiger since you have more ferocity. It is up to you. I would say you should probably use the Tiger so you can get faster heals, but if you want a bigger heal, go with the Yeti. Also, don't forget, ferocity is a double strike, so if you do have over 100%, every single hit is going to be a double strike. So the damage you're going to be seeing... Hold on, let me switch to my Tiger. The damage you're seeing right here, if I can find an enemy, is going to be doubled. So 222 is technically 444,000. It just doesn't show the second hit damage. I can confirm that the ability from the Flower of Truth does not trigger ferocity. So if you don't want the double strike to activate and to heal your team, you are going to have to hit them with a left click and not an ability. So be mindful of that. Oh, also, one thing I should say is, I have heard this set is a really good DPS set. With the ferocity you gain, of course it does increase your double strike chance. You could run it as a Berserker set if you want. I'm not sure if it will be the greatest. I haven't tested it as a Berserker, but I could see it being a good Berserker set, but since it has low HP and defense, even at 5-star, your survivability will be kind of tough. Even though the Berserker has a lot of lifesteal, you might have trouble against things that can one-hit you, especially like the Skeleton Master. Back when I was using the Reinforced on all 4 pieces, I did have over 4,000 defense, but I still got one hit from 1 to 2 of these Skeleton Masters, so Berserker set might be good, but it might not be very ideal. Alright, so a teammate finally came over here. Let's lure him out and see how much healing I can do. So around 300 to 400 per heal. Pretty good. I do get a lot more if I use the Yeti pet. I want to see if I can quickly switch that. Actually I can't if I'm getting hit, sadly, but... Wow, I got a lot of Dungeon 5 potions. Pretty good. Well, that was a blood room. Healing is pretty decent. Like I said, it could be a lot more. The higher your defense, the bigger the heal. Of course, it does say 10% of your defense is heal. So Baby Yeti will do a bigger heal. Alright, I think for the Livid boss fight, I'm going to use the Baby Yeti just so I can get bigger heals. My teammates don't have the highest HP. I'm not sure why, especially the tank. Normally tanks at this point have 10k HP, so I'm not really sure what these guys are using. So I'm going to be using Flower of Truth and the Yeti for the maximum defense so I can get the maximum heals. Alright, now we just TP up in the little room and put my Mana Flux and do my ability. And let's just see what happens. Alright, here they are. Yeah, as you can see, I'm healing for over 2,000 now. This is pretty crazy. No problem with keeping the team alive. I don't think their health bar is even moving, to be honest. So yeah, the heals are unreal when you have a lot of things to hit. And there you go. Boss fight's done. Heals were crazy. 2.4k a heal to 4 people. That is pretty wild. Still got S rank, even though we had a... Actually, no, we only had 4 deaths. So, not bad. Alright, now I am going to go test this out in a floor 6. I will see you guys then. Alright, before the video gets any longer, I just want to say that the floor 6 boss fight did not get recorded because I ran out of disk space on my hard drive, so it did not get recorded. I'm not going to show the entire dungeon floor 6 because I didn't have a problem with the whole dungeon itself. No one really wants to see me fighting like zombies and dreadlords, so we're just going to skip that. So here's going to be the outro, so yeah. Alright, here we are at the end of the video. Unfortunately, when I did the boss fight in floor 6, I ended up running out of disk space on my hard drive. So, pretty much the entire boss fight ended up not being recorded. I'm gonna be completely truthful with you guys of what happened in the boss fight. The healing was phenomenal. My teammates didn't have a hard time staying alive at all, but I did. Even though I had 4,000 HP and 4,000 defense, you think that should be enough to survive the terracotta, but it wasn't. I ended up dying, and the tank and the other healer that was in the game ended up surviving. During the giants, I was totally fine. As long as you don't get hit by the true damage abilities, you're fine. Even when you do get hit by them, it doesn't do too much. It takes away around half your HP bar, so don't get hit by more than one at once. So, but yeah. So in conclusion, I do think it's the best set for healing your teammates, but I don't think it's the best set to play as a healer. In order for it to be viable, I would say you probably have to recombobulate everything, Fuming Potato Bucket, and put Empowered. Also, you're probably gonna want to put Dirty and Vicious on your weapon. So this set isn't really something you can just pick up and be really good at, like the last 2 videos. It has to be pretty much maxed, in my opinion. And I haven't even tried it out fully maxed, so I couldn't even tell you. But, I don't know. Put down in the comments some recommendations you'd put for the set. Because I don't know what I would change to it. I could add Giant to these others too, but I don't know if that would help with the terracotta. I still died. I lasted for about 20 seconds. I lied. I lasted for about like 15 seconds. And after that, I died. And I couldn't really help out the team. But when I revived at the Giants, I did fine. I was healing for 1,500 to 2,000 per hit. So the healing was great, but staying alive is pretty tough. I gotta say. So would I recommend picking up this set? I would say maybe. It's good for floor 5, but floor 6 boss fight was pretty tough. It did fine against regular enemies, but the boss fight, I don't know, you can't really survive the terracotta. And that's the main thing you gotta be alive for, to heal your teammates during that. So let's see what happens with floor 7 whenever it gets released. I might do an updated video on that, but for floor 6, it kinda didn't perform as well as I thought it would. Floor 5 was easy peasy. I mean, let's be honest, no one really has a hard time with floor 5 anymore. So, yeah, I think that's going to wrap up the video. This is my little review of the Werewolf armor. Pick it up if you want to. It's definitely a fun set. I will have to try it. Something other than a healer. Maybe Berserker or Tank. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Everybody stay safe and peace.